Hello and welcome to RIFC Nation. It's Wednesday night, so that means it's an away end episode. Each episode of Rhode Island RIFC Nation can be found on YouTube. If you're watching now, please take a second to subscribe to our channel and click that like button on this video. You can also find us on your favorite podcast applications like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you listen on one of those, we'd really appreciate it if you took a minute to leave us a 5-star rating and a short review, as it helps more people find RIFC Nation. It's going to be a fun one tonight. I'm joined by my co-host, Ryan. Ryan, how's it going, my friend?
Hello, hello.
And we've also got John from Louisville with us. John, how are you doing?
I am doing good, Matt. Thank you guys for having me on the show this evening. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, really appreciate you taking out the time to join us. One of the things that in talking to our supporters and being at the tailgate and all of that, people really like this segment that we do, and they really like kind of learning about other clubs, meeting other supporters, at least virtually. And so definitely really appreciate you taking the time out. This should definitely be a cool one. We've got some people in the chat, so as people join, feel free to talk to us in the chat. We will bring you up. Nate Ski says, Ryan, cool road kit, glad it finally came in. Very, very good to see.
Had to get ready for Hartford away,
That's it. And we'll be doing the away end a little bit differently next Wednesday ahead of Hartford. We don't want to really talk to anyone from Hartford, but stay tuned. We will have a special guest on RIFC Nation. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. I think we were at 88 at the time of going live on this one. We're almost at our goal of 100. I think we'll get there by the end of the season. So sign up on your significant others' YouTubes as well. Hit login, get us there. Help us out. John, before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself and I guess starting with that really awesome Twitter handle you have.
Well, the Twitter handle is because I used to ring announce pro wrestling. This is Kentucky, after all. There's like so many pro wrestling leagues now. When I studied broadcasting in college, and I met up with some people and started doing that, and that's when I got on Twitter. So that was the name. So I was more handsome at the time, but no.
Very modest. I love it. I love the backstory there.
So yeah, I've been a big Louisville City fan since year one. I actually never watched a second of soccer in my life till I went to my first Louisville City game. I was dragged to it by my wife, who played soccer growing up and all the way through high school. So started going, and our first match, of course, we were at Slugger Field. I was standing we were sitting on the sideline with the frozen chosen, as I call them. And I saw all the people having fun over there in the Cooper section. And I was like, you know what? Next match, we're going to go over. What's that? It's cheaper too. It's cheaper tickets. Okay. Yeah. We're going to go over there next match. And I've been hooked ever since. I got really, really involved. I'm a capo. My wife's a capo. We've done numerous TIFOs. If you Google Louisville City TIFOs, don't Google Louisville City TIFOs. A lot of those are partly my creations, and great supporters and great atmosphere at Lynn Family Stadium every match. And it's just become such a big part of my life at this point. Traveling away, we just got back from Vegas, so I love it now, and I'm still learning about the game. As a capo, your back is turned most of the match, so it's kind of hard to see all the action. But that's what replays are for, right? So,
Absolutely. What was the name of the supporters group?
The Coopers are the main supporters group for Louisville City. They were the ones that were kind of like the founding fathers of fathers and mothers, I should say, of Louisville City. They formed before the club formed, and wanted to bring professional soccer to Louisville. And the Coopers, by the way, the reason that's a barrel maker, bourbon, of course, being our big thing here. So that's kind of like the little inside name that they came up with. And we have 3 or 4 supporter groups. We're on one side of the stadium. Scouse's house is on the other side of the stadium, on the river side. But the Coopers are, I don't want to say the main one, but they've generally been the largest supporter group, and they've been I guess it would be the rowdy side of things, so to speak. So yeah, proud to be a part of the Coopers and a part of all the fun happenings in and around the USL and Louisville City.
That's pretty cool. I see you're wearing the Capo shirt tonight too. So
Yeah,
I love that.
well, representing.
Uh, I have a friend who I do a Tottenham Hotspur podcast with who lives in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I'm so jealous because he always talks about the Bourbon Trail and like how he can just like, within so many minutes hop to a few different distilleries and get out there and really get after it. So he sends me I do have I don't think I can reach it from my desk right here, but I do have a Bourbon Trail hat that he sent me. So I'm jealous. I got to get out there just being a bourbon drinker myself.
Oh yeah.
But speaking of drinking and you mentioning the Las Vegas Lights away match that you just attended,
Yes.
you had a pretty cool ticket package for that one. Want to tell our listeners about that?
We did. We actually went out there for a wedding, and the bride and groom are people that we met through Louisville City. They actually planned this wedding before the schedule was released. Now, how crazy is
That's
that?
pretty wild.
Yeah. And so she was in charge. I was in charge of, some random things we did, and she was in charge of the tickets for the lights match. And she texted and said, "Well, we got all you can drink section." And I'm like, what is that? 220? Like, what section is this in the stadium? So I didn't know exactly what that meant. I didn't know if that meant we were going to be like enclosed in an area and not being able to leave. It was similar to what Louisville City has, where you just get a wristband, you can go in there. And so it was unlimited beer. All the hard liquor did cost, but it was unlimited beer, soda, water, whatever. So yeah, you could get two at a time. Fun fact. And
What was the temperature at kickoff in Vegas?
99, I believe it was.
Staying hydrated.
Yeah, I had to stay hydrated during that match. It was very important to do that. And I will note, that 99 in Vegas is similar to like 75 in Louisville, where it's so humid you can't breathe. So it wasn't too bad. But it was a great experience all around. Really enjoyed going there. I've been to a couple of away games for Louisville City over the years. I mean, less than 10, but every time it's just good experiences and getting to meet. I love just walking up randomly to the tailgate and being like, "Hey, let's see how many acorns am I going to have thrown at me today?" So yeah, it was a good experience all around. So shout out to those guys, the electric company out there, as they're called. So
sweet.
Awesome. Yeah. So, John, talking about obviously the Vegas game, but for the whole season so far, Louisville City looking good, second in the East. They've only dropped points in 2 games, plus 19 goal differential, 3-1-1 in your last 5. Also, thank you for that 6-0 demolition of Hartford along the way there. Can you just talk about the season so far and how it's maybe met the expectations of the Louisville City fans? I know you have a really storied history of success. So.
Yes, we have, and we're very. I dare to say we're kind of spoiled. We've had a lot of success. 2 championships. Last year was our 9th straight Eastern Conference final appearance, and this season, usually at the start of the season, we kind of can start off a little slow. This has been our best start by far. We're leading the league, 28 goals. We've been hot, and this has been a league. It's also a league record at this point as far as goals scored. 24 out of 28 of our goals have been inside the box. So we're not really a team right now, as of right now, that's really spreading the ball out, but we are taking every or capitalizing on every opportunity that's given to us. Until we were blinded by the light last Saturday in that 2-2 draw. We hadn't given up a goal since our April 9th loss to Charleston away. So 5 clean sheets on the season. Everything's kind of coming together. We were a little concerned in the offseason because we brought in a bunch of new faces and that was another thing is we basically have kept the same core group for a long time, going all the way back 2017, 2016, still got some of the same players there. And that's really helped create not only, success on the pitch, but I think the fans have appreciated getting to know these players on a first name basis, if that makes sense.
Both on and off the field, I'd assume.
Absolutely. And I think that's been a big thing for us. But you know, last year was, if this tells you anything, last year was kind of considered an off year for us. We finished 5th, made it to the Eastern Conference championship,
Mhm.
but we had 12 losses, and that's something that is just not, we're not accustomed to. So right now we're already on pace. We've already gotten to the amount of goals scored last year in late August. We've already scored. So
Wow.
I mean, this is a huge start for us so far this year. And Danny Cruz has been on interviews saying, like, he really doesn't have much to lose sleep about at this point. Now, there was definitely some missed opportunities with Vegas, but overall, so far so good. I couldn't be happier with our start.
That's pretty good. We like to do a segment on our show that we call the good, bad, and the ugly. So we'd like to get a good, bad, and an ugly on the Louisville City season so far.
Now, is that us three? Is it good? Which one of us is good, bad, and ugly now?
Well, you'd be the good because you are Handsome John.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's
we got to
true.
give you that one.
I think the good has to be for us, the goals scored, like I just said, hitting the number that we hit in August of last year, and we're not even out of May yet. That's something that we were accustomed to, especially back in the older days of Louisville City. Just crazy. I can remember a match with Swope Park Rangers, Kansas City 2, whatever. It was like 8-3. I think that was the last match at Slugger Field in 2019. So we're accustomed to those goals. So that's definitely the good. Um, the bad, I would say,
Good for
the
you that you
bad,
had to really think about that.
yeah, the bad I would say is sometimes, gosh, this is, man, you threw me a curveball here. Not that I didn't know this was coming like 5 hours ago. I think the bad this year so far has been that we've got to find ways to get more. We have a lot of talent out there, and we've got to find ways, I think, to spread the ball out. We haven't been the best passing squad at times. Our passing accuracy has been pretty solid, but a lot of times we find ourselves a little bit in no man's land, and at times we can not get back quick enough against the counter. And I think that's something we're really going to have to look out for with Rhode Island coming up this Saturday. The ugly would probably be my attempt at making a Wilson Harris TIFO banner. We were trying to go for like this volleyball from Castaway, or is that right? The
Wilson.
Tom
Yeah,
Hanks.
yeah,
Yeah,
Wilson.
yeah. So, and it just turned out this big purple blur. So that was definitely the ugliest thing of this season so far for me. So.
No, so we'll definitely have to have the Defiance supporters group and Irvin reach out to you as far as tifos, as we're definitely looking to get some up next year, more than likely in our new stadium when that gets to fruition. So, Irvin, if you are watching or listening at any point, make sure you reach out to Handsome John H on Twitter, get his ideas on that. So, thank you for that. We definitely like doing the good, bad, and the ugly, and I always have a hard time with bad and ugly because I kind of view it the same. So, I appreciate you taking a second to dig into that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is one of the segments we do on the show. Another one that we do is RIFC in 3. So we try to get people to describe the match in 3 words. But do you have like a 3-word summary of either the season so far or kind of like your support so far of Louisville City?
Yes. I would say smoke, purple smoke. Just one word though.
Okay.
No space.
Beer.
Ooh.
Let's see.
I mean, I'm already
Kit.
sold.
Yeah, we have some. Our new kits this year are kind of a throwback, and I love the new kits all around. But Way and Home are both really sharp this season. So
I love
Sweet.
that.
One thing I didn't give you in your notes to prep on, but we also like to kind of give us 3 players to really look out for in this match.
sure. So Wilson Harris right now is kind of like the big name coming from our club. He's got 8 goals this season in 9 matches. He scores in bunches when he does score. He had a little bit of a streak where I think it's like 2 or 3 matches he didn't score, but he's had a hat trick this season. He's youngest player to get 50 goals in USL championship history. And he is somebody who just has a dominant presence on the ball. He is just a real quick player. And when it comes to attacking third, is somebody to look out for. Ray Serrano is another player. Is a 22-year-old who's getting a lot more playing time than I think he might have expected at the beginning of the year, in part to Brian Omby getting injured in our final preseason match. He is up to 5 goals so far this year. He has 3 assists as well. And like I said, 22-year-old's got a bright future, somebody to look out for, even past this as a name to remember. He came in as a substitute at Vegas at the half and scored a goal in the second half for us. Another name, I'd say, if I had to go with another one, Taylor Davila. He's really stepped up. This is his first year, one of our new faces with the squad. Amazing passing accuracy. Last time I checked, it was like something crazy, 97% or something. But he has just been all over the place. He's one of those players that's kind of like, he assists the assist. He might not get that. Yeah, he might not get that stat, but it's just like he's everywhere, and he has really stepped it up the last couple of matches. Scored one for us last Saturday as well. So those are the 3 names I'd go with. It's a very solid squad all around, and it's got a lot of depth. We signed Arturo Ordonez from Pittsburgh, who was the 2023 USL Defender of the Year, and that's been a big pickup for us, and it really made the Riverhounds fans very upset. So that was the first banner I made this year, was a hero banner.
It's always a fun segment because I'll do my research before, and I like to see if my couple of players I picked out make the visiting fans list. So appreciate that.
No, it's definitely cool. Our guy Nate, and you'll hear Nate if you watch the live stream of this one. When you hear the RIFC chant, Nate is the guy yelling RI. Just so you know, so you put
Good job, Nate.
You can find it. Nate is electric in the stadium. He wants to know. You mentioned a substitute appearance, but who would you say your super sub or super subs are?
Man, that's tough. I mean, we've got a couple of players that come off the bench and add some electricity to the team. Jake Morris is a new player that is out of the left wing. He had a pair of assists in that Hartford victory, that shellacking of the Athletic. He creates a lot of big chances off the bench for us at times. We don't make as many substitutions later on. We usually make real late substitutions. Danny did have some substitutions in that last match coming in at the half, but generally speaking, Ray Serrano has usually been a starter for us. So that would have been the big super sub of that match because he has been on fire. So, I think that this is a team that there is a lot of depth there. But Danny, when he really sticks to, a certain formula, usually coming out in a 3-4-3, sticks to a certain formula, and he knows how to kind of get the most out of his players, where we kind of limit a lot of those subs at times. So, not the best answer, but
I get it. It works. Totally works.
Sometimes we're allergic to subs as well, so might be a tough question for us to answer back.
Yeah, there's times where I kind of question if we probably should have made some substitutions. And I mean, Danny seems like a coach that's really, he's in tune with the players. And they do a lot of film study and stuff, but he's more about calling out, and not in a negative way, but he calls out little mistakes here or there in film sessions, positive or negative, and really they put a lot of emphasis on that kind of stuff. One name I will throw at you, Jansen Wilson, which is somebody that we just signed not too long ago. He's a Kentucky native from Elizabethtown, Kentucky. He has been coming in as a sub quite often. He's definitely a name to look out for as well.
Perfect. So now everyone out there is dying to hear our score predictions, which we'll get to next. But before we do those, John, I just want to ask you, let's say at the end of this day, Louisville won. What do you think the keys to their victory would be?
I think we have to we have to have a little bit better possession than we've had as of late. Las Vegas dominated the possession, and getting to know the game of soccer over the years, possession, of course, is not everything. It's a number at the end of the match that you go, well, there's the possession, but at the end of the match, the score is what matters, right? So,
Ryan is
but
also a field tilt geek, so he will
yeah,
tell you all
It's
possession
going to come
doesn't
up in
mean
my score
everything.
prediction.
yeah. But I think like Las Vegas had like 67% possession in the first half and dominated most of that first half. We've got to find a way to control the ball better. We also cannot make costly mistakes. There was a few times where we gave up the ball and Vegas just took off with it. And I've seen that happen a couple of times throughout the year. So like I was saying earlier, we really attack in the middle. 40% of our goals, scores, and our attack comes from the middle. And if we don't protect the ball, and that it seems like sometimes we have a trouble protecting against the counter. So I think if we're going to win this match, we've got to limit those turnovers, not give up the ball in the middle of the pitch, and just make smart decisions out there.
We've got a good question that kind of coincides with that. What is your set piece cross defense like? We're a pretty sizable team, height wise at least, and that was kind of really why we got on the board early on versus switchbacks, and we've scored off set pieces in the last 2 matches. What is your defense like versus set piece or corners?
Well, the defense is good as far as the set pieces go. Now, us taking them, set pieces this year have not gone as planned most of the time. But defensively, though, we have Sean Tosh back there, who's a former runner-up to the USL Defender of the Year as well. Kyle Adams coming over from the San Diego Loyal / Rocket League. And he's been a big part of the team. It's been captain for us this season as well, and they've got some height on them, but they have great ball awareness, and they are some players that have been around, know the game, and know how to protect against corners and those pesky set pieces. So we can just figure them out ourselves.
Well, that's
Scott,
good to
just
know that you guys, kind of defend well against them, because we've been clicking on with that. But it's also good to know that you struggle taking them, because we are very prone to concede set pieces.
Well, I actually I was surprised you said that. So I have your expected goals conceded from set pieces. You're 9th in the league versus we're 19th, which wouldn't surprise any of our listeners. Yeah. But they actually have you guys as 2nd in expected goals on set pieces.
Oh, really? Well,
so when you said that, I was like, whoa.
Well,
we only expect first.
I knew I was going to say it and probably backfire, and that they'd come out and score a corner in like the 2nd minute. So,
and we usually kick them in for people, so it's fine.
I mean, our corners usually do result in something good. It's just that I don't know. My back's turned, guys. I mean,
that's also
you missed all the ones. Yeah.
It's one of those, we talk about on here in our match recaps, the stats versus the eye test. So the stats of XG is one thing, and the stats of scoring is another versus the eye test. So there is a balance somewhere in there.
Yep.
But now it's time that you've all been waiting for. So if you are watching live in our chat, hit us with your score predictions. I do see that our guy Nate Ski Gut has a 2-1 RIFC win, and like I said, you'll hear the RIFC chant. So you notice Nate's hyphen in there. Very well done to accentuate that point. Let's start with Ryan. Ryan, what's your score prediction for this one?
Seat. All right. So while Louisville is an absolute wagon, they've been much better at home than away. At home, they're 5-0 plus 18 goal differential. On the road, 2-1-1 with just a +1 goal differential. So happy that we're playing you guys at the Burn Stadium. Your last game 2-2 tie, which was against the only team we've beaten so far, so it gives you a little bit of confidence. I think this is going to be a really interesting game. I think, John, you actually nailed like so many of the things I wrote down of like, if we can possibly pull this off, how are we going to do it? So I think if we can keep possession and keep a controlled press against them, it could be great about disrupting the team. I saw that you guys, like you said, haven't been possessing the ball as much as normal, so hopefully we can really win that battle. I think we have to stop Davila. I hope that's how I pronounce it. It seems like he really quickly starts attacks. He's really direct and kind of gets you guys going. So really need him to not feed that very dangerous front three, and then try to minimize the crosses. It seems like you guys are a pretty cross heavy team, but you're also really good at it. I think you're completing 5 a game, which we're putting a lot in as well. We just don't really connect. So if we can do all that, I'm hoping this nets out to a 2-1 Rhode Island FC first home win of the season.
All right, let's kick it to John.
I've been debating this. Like, I mean, Matt, you heard me on Saturday when we did our other show. I was like all over the place on this.
When I give mine, I'll kind of give my roundabout way of how I got there. All right, John, what do you go for your score prediction? How do you see this one playing out?
I feel pretty good about this one.
To be clear, you should.
Yeah. Well, I feel like RIFC has got some great talent, and y'all have had a lot of games that I feel like were winnable games.
We are the draw kings. That is who we
I
are.
noticed there was a lot of draws, so I kind of dug into that and saw some of the score lines and stuff, and I was like, ooh, there's some tight ones there that were probably very frustrating for you guys. But I am going to go with a 3-1 victory.
All right, that's not far off of where I started. I think I started at 3-1, 3-0, somewhere in there, 4-1, like in that ballpark. Kind of based on you guys battering Hartford, and we'll just take a minute to really kind of relish and
Reiterate that.
Let's hit it with the you guys battered Hartford. That's freaking awesome. Pulling out all the stops here in our RIFC Nation with the special effects department, well over our budget tonight. But I think after that last one and going, from coast to coast in 2 different matches, you're gonna have a little jet lag settle in there, and it's gonna be a nice one. It's supposed to be a beautiful day, but with beautiful days in Rhode Island also comes that humidity, which I know you guys are familiar with down there as well. But that sucks the life out of you. I think this is the first time we see JJ Williams start for RIFC. I'm kind of hoping that. I think we're going to see Kano's 3-5-2, kind of how he intended it. And I think that'll kind of put us in a good position on the counter and on the break. And you mentioned that's one of the areas that, you guys can concede on or be a little bit vulnerable on. So I was going 3-1 originally to you guys. But after the last one and kind of thinking about the travel, the geography, all those miles covered, I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I'm going to go with the Draw Kings. I'm going to take that 2-2 draw in a very reminiscent match versus Sacramento. I think, and I'm going to put it out there, that we get out to a lead very reminiscent of that Sac Republic game. But I think in true RIFC fashion, it's a late set piece that levels it up for Louisville. I do think we talk about it all the time on here. We talk about it all the time on our Discord. We talk about it at tailgates. We play to our competition. I think we saw it most relevantly showed versus Sacramento. Charleston was very weather heavy, but I think we're going to play to our opponent this one here. I see a 2-2 draw.
Now, we forgot to bring up one of the biggest factors. It sounds like we're going to have a sellout.
It does also sound like we're going to have a sellout. So all these motherfuckers that are calling out the club on Twitter and the funding of the stadium and all that can go eat a big pile of call hog shit, courtesy of our guy, Kevin. Just throw that out. I won't even bore you with the politics of that, John. There's just everyone who does not come to RIFC matches loves to hate on RIFC on Twitter. On
You don't say.
Yeah, it is what it is. Anytime taxpayer dollars are involved, it gets a little bit out of control. We have our guy Jim Ed in the chat. 4-0 RIFC. Jim's feeling very optimistic today. Woo. And then Tim Sheldon with a 2-2 draw, Kings draw, agreeing with me. So I apologize if you're wagering money on that, Tim. I'm not always the best predictor of things, but I'm going 2-2. I think the draw streak continues, and I think this would be a good draw, and I would take that. Mm-hmm. I said that ahead of the Sacramento game, and it felt like a bad draw afterwards because of the way it was. So we'll see what happens on there. But before we do sign off, John, do you have any final thoughts you want to hit us with, and include in that where people can follow you on the socials and how they can get in touch with you? I already tagged Irvin in our Discord saying, hey, you got to talk to this guy about TIFOs getting up for next year. So and actually, Nate just asked, are you making the trip, John, or are you watching this one from afar?
I'm watching from afar.
Do you know of anyone who is any Louisville supporters who are making the trip?
We actually have a small group of fans that go to every single away match, no matter where it's at.
That's
so
sweet. Yeah, tell
Yeah.
us to come find our tailgate. We'll be more noticeable than 10 people under a tree. We have a tent set up. You'll see music, you'll see grilling. There's definitely a lot of people. I won't throw acorns at any of them. So
Oh, good.
have them come visit us, point them in our direction, the Defiance 1636, and they'll definitely have a good time. But hit us with your final thoughts and where we can find you on the socials.
I am Handsome John H on Twitter. Also, 24 Hour Purple People is my podcast. We have a live stream that we have not done in it's over a year at least. But it's still out there if you want to check it out. I make fun videos. I just made a Grand Theft Auto thing for the Open Cup. It's kind of neat. So check that out.
Do you post all of your tifos in a specific spot? Like, is there a place people can go to check out your work?
Yes, so vamosmorados.com, which is another Louisville City related podcast, has a summary of a lot of the TIFOs. And earlier I said a lot of those were my design. They were, but I mean, it's got every TIFO from day one to now. Yeah, check that out. And just don't Google it, kids.
I kind of want to Google it now.
No, but yeah, no, I'm always on Twitter. I'm only on Twitter for USL, more or less. I mean, and some other sports stuff. But yeah, check me out on there, and love to. I love your guys' states. I think I messaged you and said we went up there and we went somewhere, and I don't know where we were. It was at the ocean, and it was beautiful. That's all I know.
We are the ocean state, although our shoreline is the smallest coastal state, so it is what it is.
Yeah, it was beautiful though.
Ryan, what do you got for us?
No, just super excited to see that we're probably going to have a sellout. Excited for the 4 p.m. game. Excited to just see everyone at the tailgate. If you're watching, please come by the Defiance tailgate. Come say hi. Come meet everybody. I've talked about it every single show so far about how just welcoming that community is and how excited everyone's going to be. So, just get ready to scream, get ready to yell, and get ready to cheer on the team.
If you're also there and you see myself or Ryan, come see us. We've got RIFC Nation stickers.
I still don't even have one.
I know. I got to get you yours because you didn't come to the last match. So we'll chalk it up to that. Come see us. We'll hook you up with some stickers and definitely drink a beer or 6 with you while tailgating. So thank you again, John, for taking the time to join us. We definitely appreciate it. Scott says, great show, guys. Thanks, and up the tide. Thank you to everyone who joined us in the live chat. And again, if you're still on here, please click that like button on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. So that'll wrap things up for this one. Remember, RIFC Nation is more than just a podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We try to post daily social media content. Please click the link in this episode description to follow all of our accounts. If you're not already using the RIFC Club Collector app, make sure you check it out and type in the code RIFC Nation, all one word, to get a free pack to add to your collection. Thanks for tuning in. For John and Ryan, I've been your host, Matt, and we'll see you next time. As always, up the tide.
Up the tide.